as in it won't be a huge, it's going to just change the rules of superhero films. I don't think that. I think it's just going to be a great film franchise that we can go, yes, we're finally getting a Justice League film, a big cinematic universe. We never really got that in DC. Only in the animated films did we get and the TV shows did we get that. You know, we never really got a film series, which is good. And obviously, at the end of it all, when both series are finished, all DC films are out and all the Marvel films are out, they're gonna get compared. You're gonna get the whole box set of DC films, whole box set of Marvel, and they're gonna be like, let's compare them. You shouldn't have to because they're both gonna be great, but that's families for you. You gotta fight, you know. Why not? I mean, why the hell not? If you want to fight, fight for it. Me, I'm just gonna enjoy the films and enjoy the power and the history of it all. Now, other things is comic books, right? I'm more of a pre-52 comic book fan. I mean, don't get me wrong, New 52's got some good stories. I definitely like the Batman written stories by Snyder. He's amazing on that. And the Wonder Woman ones are amazing as well. Holy crap, they were amazing. Both of those were amazing. Superman, I'm iffy on because he kind of starts off as a dick. And I grew up with pre-52, so I'm used to Superman actually having like a conscience and being awesome. And being human in a way, I guess. But I guess that's the idea of New 52 is you start off not resenting them, but showing how they evolve over time, which is fair enough. I can understand that move, but I don't know. This is why I'm interested and excited for Convergence. I'm a Pre-52 guy, and finally, I'll be able to see Pre-52 universe back a year after. I think there was a Doomsday comic book that the last Pre-52 before New 52 came out. I remember there being a Doomsday type event where Doomsday came back and he was one of the smartest creatures in the universe, or not the universe, smart. He was just very smart now. And I can't remember all the story, but that was the last story I think that I knew of that took place in the Pre-52. It'd be nice to see what comes next, sort of thing. I really cannot wait to see what comes next for Pre-52. I'm just scared that this will be the last time we see Pre-52, and I do not want that to happen. I'm more Pre-52 than New 52. Yeah, I'm more Pre-52. I do like some New 52, but I'm more Pre, because I just grew up with those characters, which is, you know, that's it. That's the blank slate. I grew up with these characters, and I was really pissed how they just, I died in a way. I knew they still exist because I kind of understand the whole multiverse and how it works, and I kind of do it like this. Pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths is like a bubble, and everything from the Pre-Crisis Infinite Earths happens in that bubble. And then after Pre-Crisis Infinite Earths, you have another bubble. That's the post-Crisis on Infinite Earths bubble. Then you got the 0 hour, and then you got the new then you got the after 0 hour, and you got the Pre-52 era, and then you got New 52. So each one's in its own little bubble, and you can like pop it and move, I guess, walkways to it, and they can interact, sort of thing. That's just the way how I got it in my head, sort of thing, and that's how I understand it, and I think that's one way to understand it in a good way. Now, Convergence does sound interesting. It's quite funny how both Marvel and DC are having a multiversity effect series, which are similar as hell. The big giant battleground attacking new multiverse. Although I don't think New 52 is going to become a new multiverse, but I don't know. They could be like, actually, yeah, we are, sort of thing. Because they did say they're going to release new issue ones, and who knows. I don't think we've heard everything from Convergence yet. Although I gotta say, Marvel's does seem interesting. I mean, they're both interesting, but Marvel's one seems interesting for the fact that the Beyonders killed everyone. They killed the power of God. They killed, the Living Tribunal, who's basically got the power of God, and they killed him. It's basically like in DC, if somebody killed the Spectre, a fully powered Spectre, I am wondering how Marvel's going to explain that. I really am. That's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to see how they actually do that. But with Convergence, I think they said they were introducing a new person as well, so that's going to be interesting to see what new person is. I hope, since this is the 30th anniversary of Crisis on Infinite Earths, I really hope they give us the Anti-Monitor, because he's awesome. Although he will be, this isn't New 52 Anti-Monitor. He kind of looks dumb. I'm thinking of like Crisis on Infinite Earths Monitor. he stalemated a fully powered present Spectre at the dawn of creation. That is pretty damn awesome. Then again, he was created by the Overmonitor, which with me, if you read Final Crisis, you'll know the Overmonitor is the monitor that sent the probe in that created Anti-Monitor and the original monitor in Crisis on Infinite Earth. Now, the way I see it is, this being lives on the same. It isn't God, but it's a being that lives on the same part of creation as God. He lives in the omniverse sort of thing. So he lives in the omniverse, and one day he comes across this universe that the presence God created, and he goes, "What is this?" sort of thing, and he just gets overwhelmed by the idea of stories, human beings, emotions, and all that sort of thing, and he sends the probe in. So he's not really God, from what I understand. He's just a being that's got the power of God, which is kind of cool. Well, that's what I believe, and that kind of makes a bit of sense if you think about it. But if it's true, if what I understand is true, then that just makes the Anti-Monitor completely awesomer. But I've always liked the Anti-Monitor, and it's going to be interesting to see the Dark Side war, Anti-Monitor war. What's really interesting is in Multiversity, which is one of Grant Morrison's greatest series. He's a great writer. He can make your head explode, and I had to reread Final Crisis about 20 times to at least understand it, half of it. He's still a great writer, and it's really awesome to see. But with Multiversity, it sounded like, especially in the what was it? They're all issue ones except for the last one, which comes out next month, which is going to be an issue 2 of the first issue ones that he brought out. The first Multiversity he brought out, which since they're all number ones, it's hard to tell. The first one, the long lines, that came out in August, I think it was. When they're fighting the Gentry or something like that. That is going to be interesting, and that Multiversity I'm really excited to hear, like, who are the Gentry? Are they, what are they? If they're not explaining Multiversity, are they going to come to Convergence, which I think, from what I understand from hearing, they will become part of Convergence. They will be in Convergence, but I don't know. Think about it, you basically, if they told you everything, you wouldn't understand it. You'd have to, if they told you everything all at once, you'd be like, well, I'd have to buy the Convergence then, so I can understand where that comes from. But I'm really excited for Convergence and Secret Wars, even though I kind of don't know why they call it Secret Wars, because Secret Wars 1 and 2 was basically about the Beyonder. Then again, because in Secret Wars it was a whole lot of people, but to me it was more about the Beyonder. And I wonder if they'll bring the Beyonder back for Secret Wars. Even though they got the Beyonders itself. I haven't really caught up with much Marvel. I actually might wait until they basically the New 52 in Marvel and create the new Marvel, whatever they're going to call it, Marvel Reunion or something like that. I reckon I'll get back into it after that, because that's the one thing I like DC better, is in DC, every generation from the 40s up to the 80s and the 80s up to the 2000s and all that, all of it was condensed. If you wanted the pre-52, there's this whole bubble that you could get of comic books you can get over the years, and all these comic books fit in there. And then you had like the Pre-Crisis Infinite Earths, all those bubbles and all the stuff like that. That's what I loved about it. They're all in their own little bubble. With Marvel, from what I understand, it's all the 80 years is chock full together with some slight deviations. But they did give us the Ultimate Universe, and that was pretty cool until everybody like dies. Because yeah, that was terrible how they killed him. Now, moving on to some other things. Well, for one, cartoons. Talk about Justice League. It is one of my favourite cartoons ever, and it's just, even to this day, it's adult. Like, it's an adult cartoon, but it's not. Like the sassiness of Hawk Girl, the whole Flash can't get a date because he's the fastest man in the world. As a kid, I didn't understand that, and then when I grew up, I was like, holy crap! You mean they got away with this in a kid show? And then when she's Hawk Girl again, it's tied up by the Great Cthulhu, or whatever it was called. Rip-off Cthulhu. Well, not rip-off, more of a homage. But then she's like, I give you a hand gesture, but I'm tied up. I mean, oh man, they writ her well, and I haven't read too much of Hawk Girl, but I kind of want to now. I kind of should, because she was amazing in that show, and I hope they've incorporated some of that. Or that might have been her before they did that on the show. That might have been her in the comic books before they did on the show, which would be amazing. And I hope that happens. Or did happen, basically. But another great show would be Marvel's Avengers Earth's Mightiest Warriors. Now, that show was amazing. That was the Avengers show that I wanted since I saw Justice League. Because when I grew up in Justice League, Batman, X-Men, Superman, Spider-Man, plus like superhero wise, X-Men Evolution, all that. We never got a really good Avengers team like Justice League, and I always wanted that until we got that show. And you know what? What happens after 2 seasons on a cliffhanger? Basically, they end it, and then Avengers Assemble, which is okay. It's not as good as the original, even though it's technically supposed to be on a follow-on, even though it's different. But it's just annoying because when I watched that Avengers Earth's Mightiest Warriors, I got in so much fun with these characters. Miss Marvel, T'Challa, even the Ant-Man, even with Ant-Man and how they had original Ant-Man, I can't remember his name, and they had the second one who had to do the whole daughter thing, and I was like, holy crap, I did not know that. Because I was never a big fan of Marvel, but I still like Marvel. And I was just like, crap. I like these characters now. I want to get into these characters. Comic book wise, and I've actually read a few of them, and I've gone, holy crap, these are actually awesome characters. But what's really annoying is they cancelled it. Out of everything, they just cancelled it. And this is the one thing I hate. If it doesn't do well, this is similar to the Young Justice cancellation. If it doesn't do well, it could be, you could create the greatest thing ever, but if it doesn't do well and make money, they'll cancel it. Also, like Taken Firefly, well written, great universe, all that. From what I understand, didn't make enough money, or didn't make enough as what it would be, cancelled. And that's what I hate. You know, you always hear quality over quantity. Well, you can give quality, but if it's quality, it could be the greatest thing ever made. But unless it makes the money, it's not gonna. You can't get more of it. You know, which is annoying. That was a great show, and they should bring it back, but they won't because they got Avengers Assemble, and they gotta. This is another thing I hate that Marvel's been doing lately. Every show now has to follow the movies. Why? I'd rather the movies are great, live action films are fantastic, but I'd rather them follow the comics. You know, I'd rather the comics more so than the other ones. It's just it's very strangely done. Very strangely done. Very, very weird. But I guess that's the way they want to do it now on. But truthfully, that's all I have to say. I don't really want to blabber on too much. This video will probably be put into 2 parts because this video goes for about half an hour all up, and I don't think most people would want to spend half an hour videos of me talking, especially since I'm kind of technically starting out again as the Autistic Aussie Viking sort of thing. So unless I get bigger, which hopefully I do one day, which might be years away, most likely, I can't really keep having too much half an hour videos. I might still have 20-minute videos up as one whole big thing. This one would be there. This one would be put into 2 15-minute ones. And hopefully people enjoy this, of me just talking about things. I probably do have to work on my talking, because I can definitely drift on and all that, but live and let learn sort of thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's me for now. Continue thrashing, my good friends. Continue thrashing.